overseas market has done really well is they've always recognized the value of greatness, and they pay you. We are tired of y'all treating us like we are slaves.
Yeah.
We're tired of y'all treating us like we are hired help.
Yeah.
We're not. We built this league. Pay us what you owe us.
Welcome to Making Black History Today. I'm your co-host Liz. We're here at Satou Cliff, Golden Bears, home of the Golden Bears gym, with none other than Fran Harris. I mean, you're sitting on a golden bear. Yeah, literally sitting on a golden bear. What does it feel like? What's the electricity? Before I see you getting the Kool-Aid smile. What is it like? What is it like? Talk to me.
Wow, I mean, I haven't seen this level of a gym. I didn't play on this kind of gym. It was like peach baskets and wooden floors when I played, Converse sneakers. But it is amazing to see where the great Satou Cliff High School has come, has gone. The legacy is still intact, so it's exciting to be back. It's different than when I was here, obviously, but to be back in here, which was one of the most legendary girls basketball programs of all time, not just in the state of Texas,
right,
but of all times, and to play with players who went on to play professionally, who played at some of the great universities. It's kind of cool. And then to see my picture. I mean, to see my picture in the hall.
You walk right
by the picture. It's amazing to just think about from whence I've come, because when I was a player here, my first year, I didn't play basketball until I was 15, right? So my first year here, first couple of weeks, I had a difficult time with the training and those kinds of things, but we got through some of the physical challenges, and then I was able to really absorb the greatness that was around me.
Right.
I'm playing against high school girls who were really like college players, and then to go to the final game of a state championship my 3 years. First year 40-0, second year lost a regional, last year lost by 1 point in the state tournament. That's what Satou Cliff has meant to me. It's introducing me to a brand and a level of basketball that wasn't even present in girls basketball back in the 80s. And so to sit here, I feel grateful. I feel really excited by the future, but most importantly, I feel proud.
Go Golden Bears, we're rooting for you. I wanted to ask you a few questions about what's going on in the WNBA, in the W, with the collective bargaining agreement. And because we're right up on the 31st of October, 2025, which is the date of Halloween, and it could be spooky. Could be spooky for the W as well.
All right.
So what are your thoughts about the idea that it's going this long to get this deal done, or try and make some attempt at a deal?
Well, the first thing I'll say about the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, is that it's supposed to end on the 31st, but it could actually go beyond that. They could make some exceptions. They could do that. And it sounds like they're going to need to do that because they haven't gotten down to the nitty-gritty of what needs to happen in this particular agreement. So I think there's a great opportunity for us to come to the table with some very strong both asks and demands, because it is that kind of compromise, kind of figuring out what works for both sides. But in the end, I think we'll get what we need. And first of all, that's going to be salaries, getting salaries up to the par.
Okay, I was going to ask you, so how close are they to meeting the demands of the ladies for the W? And then the second question is, how acceptable a percentage of revenues are we actually realistically can expect for them to get?
Well, the first thing, salary, right? So salaries based on operating revenues should be able to go up exponentially given how well the W has done over the last 2 seasons. The second thing is the other part is just share of revenue. So it doesn't matter what those are, we need to go up from 10%. The men are closer to 50%, the NBA closer to 50%. And I only make that comparison because I never compare the WNBA to the NBA. But with that, it makes sense. The men are getting a share of of about 50%. And so we can't be at 10% when we've grown so much from a revenue standpoint in all other aspects of our game. So I'm looking for that to be closer to 40% and maybe even 50%.
Okay. That's Yeah, I think that would help the ladies out greatly. So, in looking at the variant percentages for these ladies, are there dissenting voices? Do we expect to have dissenters the longer this thing draws out? And with those, what is the percentage of players you think are saying, "Hey, I just want to play ball. I don't care about all of that"?
I don't think there's going to be one player that says, I just want to play ball. I don't care about not getting a raise. I think everybody is of the opinion that we should be paid exponentially more than we're getting paid now. So you're looking at the top in the WNBA around 250, maybe more, average maybe around there. But I think for the most part, the players have been very unified in their beliefs about what needs to happen in this CBA.
Very cool. So another question for you. With these ladies all saying and wearing the paraphernalia saying stand on business, pay us what you owe us, how realistic are the chances of the negotiation versus a lockout?
I think it's probably 50-50. It could go
Really?
either way. And let me say something about that pay us what you owe us. That is a triggering t-shirt.
Yes.
It is a triggering t-shirt, and I was here for all of it.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
They said they didn't say pay us what we deserve. Right? They didn't say anything about deserving. They said pay us what you owe us, which
did.
for me says that we know y'all been holding off on revenue and money that we should have gotten.
Right.
So you have not given us what we are due. And so I love that whoever creatively, whatever the flip chart exercise was,
Right.
that is, because you want to trigger. When you're doing a CBA, when you're doing any kind of agreement, you need people to be jarred out of their complacency. And I thought the WNBA has been like, we'll pay them whatever. Whatever. They're going to accept it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were like, no, we're not. I love that.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to hear that. Now you have G-Zenners, GXers, G-Zers. You hear a different sentiment with them. It's like, that's right, pay these women what they are due. They've worked hard. They've played for peanuts for too long. And I think some people, I've said to a lot of my friends who are saying they're asking for too much, is nothing great has ever happened without people pushing lots of buttons, without people pissing some people off.
That's right.
Without people fighting for something beyond what they will themselves enjoy. So what I've said even to our WNBA players is like, you're not necessarily, some of the things you're fighting for are for you.
Yeah.
But when you become a revolutionary is when you start fighting for the things that you will not benefit from. So fight for the women and the girls who will come after you. Make sure they have been set up properly at the table.
So in the words of a recent interview that we did, this particular interview person, for lack of better words, said that there are Aarons and Moses in any situation. Moses wouldn't be the person that gets to benefit from it, but certainly all of the people coming forward in the next generations to come will have the benefit of the work that's being done now.
Yeah, and I would say I love a better example is Harriet. Like Harriet Tubman looked at her future husband and said, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me to calm down.
Right.
I'm fighting. She was clearly not fighting for herself.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm bringing hundreds of people across through the railroad. But what I'm doing is so beyond what y'all can see.
Right.
Y'all just get on board. Y'all just get on the choo-choo because we going.
Ride the train.
Just ride the train. Don't worry about this. This is what I've been called to do, and I'm gonna get you there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where our women are in the WNBA. Y'all may not understand the things that we're asking for. You may not understand the things that we're fighting for. Just get on the train, get your ticket, and see where we end up. And sit down.
Sit down and
sit
pay
down. Stop
attention.
asking all these questions. No, but sit down and just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I got you. So let's talk about the W versus the NBA. Adam Silver is the commissioner, and all roads lead to him. I read a recent article, very recent article in the AP News, and he said, and I'm quoting here, WNBA deal will get done, but relationship issues with the players must be repaired. What do you think about that statement?
I believe those statements were made because the players took the offense to say some things that were a little bit more spicy. They got spicy in the conversations. And I don't think the commissioners liked that. But that was very strategic. It was very planned. That was not an accident. That was not emotional in the moment. It was, we are tired of y'all treating us like we are slaves.
Yeah.
We're tired of y'all treating us like we are hired help.
Yeah.
We're not. We built this league. Pay us what you owe us.
So you talk about how the players are treated. Now, I've read some of the comments even on our from our podcast with people who have opposing views.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a situation where you have to decide if you're going to address it intelligently or not. With the ladies in the W looking at voicing their opinions about how they're being treated, who's getting the black eye in this deal?
I don't know that anybody is really at a disadvantage in this conversation. Certainly not the league, not at a disadvantage. And they've come under fire because people are like, show us your numbers. Let's see what your numbers are. If anything, the players, I think it took a toll on them to be having these conversations during the season. Could not have been easy to have to perform for those that had advanced to playoffs, have to perform and to also be thinking about the impact of every move that you make.
Right.
But it's a perfect time for this conversation to be had. It's a perfect time for both sides to come out swinging.
Yeah.
And I think for the first time, our women are seeing, first of all, they're seeing their sport and their fans respond to their greatness.
Yeah.
So maybe they have a little bit more impetus to fight because they're like, okay, I'm seeing what we're doing.
Right.
I'm really seeing it. This is not just some league that's kind of limping along. I'm seeing what we're doing. So they've gotten a little bit more energized to fight the battles that they're fighting right now.
Along the same line of keeping with this conversation, Kathy Engelbert is the commissioner for the W. How sobering do you think it was for her to hear Nafisa Collier with the Minnesota Lynx come out and basically say, and I'm quoting here, the league has the worst leadership in the world?
That was strong. That was super strength.
Is Kathy going to survive that?
So if Kathy's job is hinging on that statement, Kathy's job was likely already not safe. Right.
Okay.
I don't believe that Nafisa Collier saying we have the worst leadership is going to get Kathy fired. I don't believe that, because you got to look at a person's body of work, and the reality is, if you look at the total body of work, and this is for all of us, some good things, some not so good things. Kathy has done some really great things on the side of the business. The business has been transformed largely due to her relationships and what she's done.
Right.
Okay, that's a plus. That's period, point blank, full stop. And we all have a shadow, and there are things you may not be good at, and so relationships may not be her cup of tea.
Right.
Clearly, based on the players' sentiments and comments, that is not. But here's the thing that a lot of people miss: Kathy is working for shareholders of the WNBA.
That's right.
She's not there to make sure that the players are feeling good and now there has to be a respectful relationship, but at the end of the day, her job is to make sure there is a great return to the people who invested in the WNBA.
It seemed like to me it was a shot over the bow, and almost like, hey, you guys that are treating us wrongly, get in line, because we're gonna start calling y'all out.
You next.
And so that's what we call, where I'm from, get right moment.
A get right moment. Okay. All right. What I loved about the get right moment is we don't see women do that a whole lot.
You don't.
The past pictures of women has been politeness, kindness. These are all great things, by the way, but they don't necessarily get you what you need when it comes to your job. So players never stepped out to call out, if you will, the leaders, the coaches. Like, that day is behind us.
Yeah.
Players are like, we're professionals, we're adults, We got a job to do. Y'all pay us for it. We're equal at the table. And that's the state of women's basketball and women's sports today. And I'm happy that we're there.
I've got to say I am too. So Collier is the vice president of the Players Union. She has a seat at the negotiation table. She's also a co-founder of the Unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league. Played in the winter when the regular season is not ensuing. So does Nafisa's experience and position at the table and the ownership of Unrivaled weigh or leverage in these negotiations? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it is impossible not to think about Unrivaled in these negotiations. But it's interesting because I have this conversation probably 2 or 3 times a week. People are focusing so hard on Unrivaled and, they're getting beat up in Unrivaled, and then they want to come play in the WNBA. And I'm like, but they were going overseas to play from September till April and then playing in the WNBA, and nobody had a problem with that at all. So you play January, February, March in Unrivaled, take a month off, go to training camp in May.
Right.
People have an issue with that, but it's okay that you beat your body up from September to April and then come to the WNBA. It doesn't make sense to me.
So at the end of the day, when you look at the dynamics of the argument about the physicality of the sport for the W, and it's a physical game. Yeah. Players are going down and it's body banging. It's always curious to me how a non-contact sport has so much contact. And so I want to move the conversation to looking at the officiating for the W and how players are now stressing the point that the officiating is terrible. What do you think about the officiating and what can be done about the issues with missed calls and things of that nature?
Well, first of all, most officials, like players, want to play at the highest level. They want to officiate at the highest level. So we have an issue in our officials field in that a lot of these officials want to be NBA officials. They do. And that's what they aspire to. It's the highest level. Yeah. It's like playing in the WNBA. You want to play in the WNBA or do you want to play? Okay. Yeah, you want to be at the highest level. And so they use the WNBA for that stepping stone. And unfortunately, sometimes they aren't as trained. They aren't as particular about calling our game because they're like, look, I'm just getting to the next level, right? It's like when you're in the 9th grade, you just want to get to the 10th grade. You just want to go to high school. You just want to get into high school. You're not trying to forget all this 9th grade stuff. Let's get to high school where the cutest girls and the cutest boys are. So I think that's how officials view. A lot of them view that in the WNBA, and unfortunately, it's like a chicken and egg thing. Like our game can't get better until our officiating get better, but our officiating not gonna get better because they're aspiring to do something other than what they're presently supposed to be doing. So I think one of the things that has to happen is a great deal more development from grassroots. Okay. And we have to have more people aspiring to just be officials.
So in a recent article in Sports Illustrated, the WNBA, it was stated that, in this quote, the WNBA playoffs have not been decided by questionable officiating, but they have certainly been overshadowed by it.
In the finals for 2025, I believe that's not the case. Okay. I think the officiating has been much better in this finals than previous finals. Okay. So I actually put out on social like, hey, I thought game 1 the officiating was really good. Like I didn't even notice it a whole lot. They had the best officials. Again, it's a contained thing, right? So you got spread out all these officials over all these games, but now you got one series, 2 teams, give me my best officials. And that's why we're seeing a different level of quality in this particular series.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. The shot over the bow, going back to Nafisa Collier calling out the commissioner and all of that. Did the officials hear that response that she gave about everything being like just wrecked and the worst of the worst. Do you think the officials, in other words, heard what she was saying, and for this series said, "Ooh, we better kind of get our act together to not let them focus so much on officiating"?
I believe it is possible. I also believe that it is impossible not to hear the chatter about your profession.
Yeah.
And that could be good or bad. That could be like, if I'm a coach in the league or a player in the league and I'm constantly on an official's ass, and then I want to think I'm going to play and get some fair calls, like, I don't know, boo, they might be a little biased toward you. And it's impossible. We're human. It's like when you're playing, you start to think certain things because there's been this tendency for these things to happen. So I think the officials are very well aware that they're on the hot seat. They're all on the hot seat, but I also think they think, what y'all gonna do? It's kind of like the slang, like, who gonna check me, boo? Like, what are y'all gonna do? And unless there becomes a higher population of officials who want to be at the highest level in the WNBA, that problem is not going to change, because we have a supply and what is it? Supply and demand. We have a supply and demand issue in our league.
I think it's a trickle down process. Personally, I think when you throw a shot over the bow and you're basically saying, "Hey, we're calling you out," I think every affected area of that call out has to say, "Hey, we need to check up. We don't want to be next," or "I think this is a good time for us to get our act together as well." Stephanie White, Stephanie White, head coach of the Fever, said, it's like every part of our league has gotten better, and that part is lagging behind. She's talking about officiating.
Well, again, we need more people wanting to be officials. We need people wanting to be officials, and then once they want to be officials, they need to want to be great officials, right? So we have a supply and demand issue, because we need more officials, but we also need those officials to be trained and developed and elevated and accountable and compensated, all the things that we want our players to be, we need our officials to be. But I don't know a lot of people running around saying, "I want to be an official." So there has to be an educational aspect of this as well. Introducing, hey, just like we introduced playing and coaching and all these and announcing, how many people want my seat as an announcer? Lots. So we have to present those opportunities to young people as well.
So with that said, where are we in terms of looking at the percentages that other countries pay these young ladies? China, Russia, Turkey, and I'm taking this from a clip that I saw Satou Sabally say about 9% of the league's revenue goes to the players here in the United States. Are the percentages and pensions and things like that much of a difference in these other countries from someone who's played overseas? Yeah,
I don't believe what's happening overseas is quite as complicated as what we do in the W, right? Okay. So they're not playing percentages of revenue. They're not doing any of that stuff over there. They're doing insurance and they're doing salaries and bonuses. So it's a pretty clear business model. But what I do believe the overseas market has done really well is they've always recognized the value of greatness, and they pay you. So when we started going overseas some of the people went out in the 70s, but in the 80s, like, we were Americans were the highest paid players on the team, and sometimes the naturals for that city or that country didn't even get paid, and wouldn't get paid if it meant that we could get a higher salary. So they always saw the value of the most valuable asset on the team, and that's where we have lagged behind. And obviously we have more people to pay, but I think there's something to be said about foreign countries with very little resources saying, we need to pay the big dog. And whatever we can pay her or him, that's what we're going to do.
Well, it's the subject of how the overseas market actually makes it so lucrative for a lot of these players, male and female, but we're obviously here to talk about the women. Basketball isn't a singularity kind of issue with players coming over to play. Let's stay with the subject of Satou Sabally and her accelerated talents now that she's left her predecessor team. What do you think is the sticking point for a number of these ladies leaving their past teams and doing so well when they get to other teams?
It's always going to be, let me put it this way. The great Bill Russell said, this game will always be about buckets, right? And someone playing better in one system versus another is always just about fit. It just is. It's
the right fit.
So it's the right fit. It just, you put on a pair of shoes, you're like, something's off about this. You can't walk in them. You can't do it.
Right.
You go, you get another, this is exactly what I needed. And that's all it is. And when I look at more specifically, because that was a general answer, when I look at specifically what happens in Phoenix, is that Nate he's a positive, open court, you're great. Let's just show the world that you're great. You prepare for this moment. That's how he coaches. And some players really need that. Some players respond to open, you're great. You've been doing this all your life. Go do your thing, because that's how he coaches. And I think that's why Phoenix thrived this year in general.
So moving first year of having the W play 7 games for a final from 5 in the previous years, what's the impact to that, to the game itself? And then I guess the ladies just got to breathe more oxygen and get in better shape for the long haul.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's good for the business of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
For our game to be going for a 7 series. No, I think it's good. I think it's great for our game from a business standpoint that we are playing 7 games. I think it could possibly get very tiresome because think about when I played the WNBA, we played from May to August.
What was that, 1900?
1912. May to August, that's what that was. 1912 was a good year, yeah. And then it was, now they're playing from May to October. Some of these people are not playing that long. But so I do think there is a fatigue factor as well. I just want the quality of the game to stay up throughout the 7-game series.
Going through the woes of negotiations with trying to bring these ladies into paying them what they are actually worth, with the unrivaled League 3-on-3, with other entities now out here putting together basketball programs to possibly eclipse the W at some point. Are the ladies in the U.S. in particular, do you think the W is safe as a medium for basketball, or do you think that they're going to face problems in the future of keeping and retaining these ladies, knowing that there are other possibilities out here?
I believe no business is safe. And certainly the W's had a monopoly on women's pro hoops stateside for 29 years. But we got Unrivaled, we got Athletes Unlimited, we have Exalt, other leagues. I've seen the NBA guys toying around with starting their own league. So no league is safe. And finally, I think that's indicative of where we should be. Finally, women's basketball is getting the due that it deserves. So 16,000 women playing college basketball, 156 spots in the WNBA right now. Those numbers are in great favor of additional leagues. And our fans deserve that. So I love the predicament that we're in now.
Fran, who is, in your opinion, the most exciting basketball player in the W? And why?
That's not even hard. I don't even have to think about the fact that Asia Wilson is one of the most incredible players I've seen span all the decades of women's basketball, but certainly in the WNBA right now, top 5 of all time. And she's what I love most about Asia is that she's gotten better every year she's been in the league. Yeah. Right. She was just a post player when she came out of South Carolina.
Right.
And now you're seeing Asia take threes, you're seeing Asia face up, you're seeing her game has evolved, it's developed, and she is the true professional because she's never rested on one laurel. She always fights like she is woman down, and she's developed into a great leader. But I mean, just the fact that she gets better every year when she's already up here is phenomenal. And I love watching her get her due, not just on the court as
Right.
MVP, defensive players,
Right.
but also getting her money for her brand as well.
Shout out to Don Staley. You killing it out there.
All right, 5. Yeah, yeah.
Caitlin Clark has been injured for a period of time. In fact, one could make the observation that she was injured early and her season was shot.
Yep.
It's been shot for a long time. Without her on the floor in the playoffs, the Fever's still within an earmark of going to the finals. I was under the impression that they weren't supposed to be in the playoffs without Caitlin Clark, the darling of the W, arguably. What are your thoughts about
I
what
think
happened?
Caitlin Clark was an amazing addition to a team that needed someone to be amazing in their lineup. And what she's done for that franchise and done in her role in the WNBA has been absolutely phenomenal, great to watch. But I'm reminded that this is a team sport. And Caitlin's injury and her being out from July, this is right before the All-Star game, throughout the season, the rest of the season, and the fact that that team was able to soar reminds everybody that this is a team sport. You can have an individually great player, phenomenal player on your team, but at the end of the day, it is a team sport. And I think that's what was most punctuated by what the Indiana Fever was able to do. Then they lost, then they didn't just lose Caitlin, then they lost like 4 other players.
Yeah.
And literally
still.
were one shot, despite Kelsey Mitchell going out with the strangest, diagnosis for what was happening with her nervous system. They still were one shot from going to the final series. So Caitlin Clark is just going to be butter on a roll when she comes back, but she's not the entire meal, and they proved that this season.
Fran, let's talk about Odyssey Sims and her debut with the Fever.
Yep.
And how she, minus Caitlin Clark, was able to get them very close to being in the finals.
Yeah, Odyssey Sims, for me, is like that. She's like that fly on the barbecue at your family reunion. She just never goes away.
You can't get
You
it.
can't
either.
get it.
You can't get it.
You can't get her like, you better get this. She keeps showing up because she's great.
Yeah.
She keeps showing up because she has value.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were asking in the media and in media boards about why can't Odyssey Sims stick? Why isn't she on a okay?
She's just one of those
She's just
players.
one of those players. This is her journey.
Right.
She's going to be on a lot of teams. But what I do believe happened with her performance with the Indiana Fever is that she made a case for why you should be talking to her in this offseason.
Right.
She's never had the chance this late in her career to make a case for why you should be blowing my phone up in the offseason.
So we're in Dallas, Texas. For all of you who don't know, at South Oak Cliff. South Oak Cliff, home of the Golden Bears. And reflecting on what's going on with the Dallas Wings team, having a freshman phenom like rookie, like Paige Bueckers. What do you think her impact to the Dallas Wings will be for the future, and recognizing that she is the Rookie of the Year?
Yeah,
for Dallas.
She proved it. She kind of laid the slate for what she's going to be. Had a great rookie season. Great campaign, and broke all kinds of records for rookies, for non-rookies, for in cracking top 10 of all-time WNBA in some cases with her scoring. But what Paige did was to come in and really solidify the need to be an all-around player, to be a player who doesn't just shoot long balls, doesn't just drive, take you off the bounce. She literally has no deficiencies in her offensive game.
Totally involved.
None. Now, she didn't light it up from three-point land like a lot of people do, but she can shoot that. She's good at that shot. I think if there's one area of her game that will need to develop this next year, it's going to be that shot, because people are going to shut down her penetration,
They're gonna see the film.
her dribble drive, and they're going to be like, okay, so if we got a better shot at making Paige shoot the three-pointer than we do for her driving, let's make her shoot that three-pointer. So that part has to improve. But the thing that's most amazing about Paige is the way she invites people into her world, and that they just want to be around her. There are some people who just want to be sitting around the fire, and Paige is that kind of player. She's that kind of leader. And the fact that she was able to come into Dallas, to assert herself, but not in a way of trying to boss everybody
Correct.
around to see things her way. She understands leadership. She has been groomed to be a great leader because she understands investing in people is the best way to get them to invest in the dream that you have for the team that's going to better the team.
Thanks for joining us for the special edition of Making Black History Today with the incomparable Fran Harris. Thank you, Fran, for your time again. And you guys remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we would love to read your comments. Have a great day.
I'm so glad I go to SOC. What you say, what? I'm so glad I go to SOC. Come on. I'm so glad I go to SOC. Singing glory, hallelujah. I go to SOC. Boom.
Yeah, okay, that was great. Let me ask you this question.
What?
Okay, and I'll make this the final question. Any advice you would give to the young ladies playing on the South Oak Cliff basketball squad in the coming season?
If I can show up at 15, out of shape, never played, didn't know a whole lot about what was possible for me, if I could do that and then just focus in on developing a skill set, because that's what I did. I just decided, like, my brother was like, if you can shoot, like, you good. You all the other stuff you can learn. You're tall, you're skinny, and you can't do nothing about that. But if you can shoot, if you can develop a skill set, then you'll go far in this particular sport. So focus on one thing that you can become great at in this sport, and trust that all the way through the season, and watch the results that you get.
Well, there you have it. Go, Lady Bears.
Go, Lady Bears. Oh, my God. All right.
That's it.
SOC. What? That was, I could hear the ancestors. Okay, good. You got to do this. So this is what you have to do this. You have to say,
Oh, I will not. The hell I will. The hell I
You
will.
got to act like you're not you. Just say SOC.
My classmates are going to kill me.
SOC. That's where it's at. SOC.
SOC. That's where it's not.